Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back to Pain into Paper podcast. This is episode number 2. So, for anyone who have not yet watched episode 1 on my YouTube, please subscribe. It's breaking my silence. It's the first episode. Please watch it so that you can kind of like catch up to episode 2. First and foremost, let me apologize for not being able to drop the episode a little earlier as I was supposed to, but there was a lot of things that transpired in the week, and I had some things that I had to take care of and be there for, friends and family that I love. And I was a little under the weather. But neither here nor there. We're here now, episode 2. Before we get started, you already know I need to give my thanks, and that goes to the man upstairs. So let's bow our heads. Father God, we thank you for giving us this space and this opportunity to be able to express ourselves. We thank you for all that you have done in our lives. We thank you for allowing us to make it out of situations that some may not have been so gracefully able to do. We ask that you continue to guide our voices, guide our footsteps, and guide us on the path of purpose in which we are supposed to do here in this journey of life. Father God, I ask that you remove any entities that is not of you. I ask that you remove them from my space. Online as well. Father God, I just thank you for all that you have done and everything that you will continue to do in our lives. I ask that you allow my voice to be able to touch anyone who is going through abuse, who have just gotten out of abuse, and that I may be able to help or save a life. I thank you for this platform, and I ask that you cover us in your mercy, your grace, and your favor. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. This is episode 2. What does abuse look like? So, of course, I have my notes, and we're definitely going to get into that. But give me some water. Lots of people think that abuse only happens if there is physical violence. So the first question is, can abuse happen if there is no physical violence involved? And the answer to that is yes. To be honest, that is the way that abuse starts. It starts from emotional. It starts from the verbal. Psychological abuse. There's different forms of abuse that we're going to tackle today, and we're going to get into. When we're talking about abuse, what forms of abuse does that include? The first one is emotional abuse. Now, emotional abuse is blaming, threats of intimidation, self-work, emotional well-being, humiliation, being gaslit. Those are forms of emotional abuse. Physical abuse, we already know: hitting, slapping, punching, kicking, burning, scolding, any type of force of bodily harm to a person is physical abuse. Then we have sexual abuse. We have contact or behavior, including coercion, manipulation, rape, attempted rape, anything against someone's will sexually is a form of sexual abuse. Then you got the verbal abuse. The verbal abuse involves words meant to harm or control somebody. Any type of language to demean you in any type of way. Those are forms of verbal abuse. Let's see. What are some red flags of emotional or psychological abuse that people often overlook? Let's see. the way sometimes people talk, I would say, you know, just the littlest thing, the littlest speech, like a person trying to humiliate you in front of people, to demean you in any type of way. That's sometimes overlooked because people don't take it as seriously. They joke, sometimes people do things in a jokingly way, and sometimes they're not joking. They just use the humor that they feel that's in it so it can go over your head somewhat, sort of. So it's important to pay attention to people's speech. If you tell someone, I don't like something, and then they continue to do it. I don't like when you call me out my name. You call me your bitch, say for example. And you tell someone, I don't like when you call me that. And they be like, well, bitch, please. That's a form of verbal abuse because you just explained to them your boundary. You just explained to them that of what you did not like, and they still did it anyway. So that's a form of verbal abuse. And things like that are overlooked a lots of times because people don't take it seriously. People don't think that what you say can lead to other things. And to be honest, that's exactly how my situation started. It started with the speech. And me being who I am, and me being raised and from where I'm from, in the hood, we don't look at that. We like, all right, well, he talking shit, but no, it is a clear sign that respect is being tampered with, and that can lead to other things, which in my case, it did. You also have things like cultural, spiritual abuse. Some of these things a lot of us are not aware of. People forcing you to practice acts or beliefs that you don't believe in is a form of spiritual or cultural abuse. People demeaning or making fun of your religious beliefs. That's a form of spiritual and cultural abuse. What else? Preventing you to practice your beliefs is a form of spiritual and cultural abuse. So, there's different forms of abuse that tread the line that we all, and I'm going to say all, because in some form of way, all of us are guilty of some form of abuse. And that's just the truth. We might not want to look at it that way, but that's the way that it is. We also have financial and digital abuse, which we're going to get into. But let's go to the next question. Let's see. It's why do you think some people have a narrow view of what abuse looks like? I think some people have a narrow way of looking at abuse because of how society, the media, how is misrepresented sometimes in the media, legally, how the courts and the police department, a lot of places, they don't take certain things seriously. More so the emotional, financial, verbal abuse. They don't really take that too much seriously. It's like something has to happen to someone in order for them to take it seriously and be like, oh, okay, well, now this is serious. No, it's been serious, and nobody didn't take it seriously. I think that some people, the behaviors are normalized. Some of us growing up in the hood, like I come from, we watch certain behaviors and certain things take place, and it was normal. A lot of us was raised around things, and we would think and look like, oh, all right, well, that's just the way that it's supposed to go. So, that's why, too, it's important when you have children and the environment you place these children in, because children watch us. They mimic our behaviors, observational learning, and they think that the behavior that we show them is correct when sometimes that behavior is not correct. And it can be confusing to a child who may think that that's what it should be. A lot of times we prioritize the physical abuse over everything else. But to be honest with you, physical abuse, it heals faster than the rest of them. You can be beat on and those bruises may heal. But a lot of times the emotional and the mental and psychological abuse that people go through, it lasts for a lifetime even. And those are the ones that are a lot more dangerous than physical abuse. Not to say that any one is more better than the other. None of it is good at all. And that's, the purpose of these conversations is so that we can talk about it, provide a safe space for people to have understanding, for people to be educated on things that they don't know. A lot of times as women, we do things that could be abusive as well. And, it's not looked at in any form because we're women. So the guys, it's overlooked when it comes to the men. And that's not right, because to be honest, it goes both ways. You don't want to be spoken to any kind of way. So why would you think that it's okay to speak to him any kind of way? And vice versa. It's the same thing. So us women are not innocent either. It takes two. I just wanted to put that out there because, we could get a little carried away thinking that, it's just the women. He abused me. No, we abuse these men too. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. So, let me see. Let's see. We talked about financial or digital control could be used as a form of abuse. You have a lot of men who, us women, you want men with money, but a lot of these men use their money to control you. Use their money to tell you, you can't do this, you can't do that, or you're not getting no money. That's a form of abuse. That's a form of coercion, manipulation. So when people just look at somebody and be like, I don't want to, he got a hand problem. But you could be in a whole situation with somebody that's abusing you, but you looking down on a woman or man that's being abused physically because that's all we know is the physical. When, no, a lot of us out here in this world are in financial abusive relationships. So we have to think about that. It's very easy to judge someone and be like, why did you stay with this person? Or, if that was me, I wouldn't do it. I know for a fact I've done it. So I'm not going to sit here and be like, I wasn't one of those people. No, I was one of those people. They used to be like, I ain't no, please. And it happened to me. And yeah, I fought back. And through the grace of God, I was able to leave that situation. But to be honest, it's still something that I have to deal with. I have to deal with it. And I've been dealing with it since 2019. Because the person is still delusional. Suspect. We call suspect him downstairs. Him downstairs is delusional. And him downstairs still wants to do what he has to do to, in his way, manipulate the system, manipulate people to believe that things is one way when he know the truth and he know that's not the case. Still using forms of abuse to control the situation to get what he wants. So let's talk about it. So we have, let's look at this picture. Because before I put up a picture of myself, but here go a clearer picture of how my face looked. And this was when, like I said in the last one, my son was 6 months, and it was my first Mother's Day. I don't know if you can see, let me back it up some because I don't want that glare. But look at my face. Look how swollen my face was. Look. So, yeah. That's physical. But the mental, emotional abuse, it couldn't have been financial because he was broke. Child by J.M. was broke. But I'm not a person who I chase money from other people. Like, I need to get my own form of money. Because I've been through that before with someone who, because they did things for me, they thought that they can tell me what to do. They would try to use it to get me to do things that they wanted me to do. And that didn't work for me. What role does manipulation or gaslighting play in keeping someone trapped in an abusive situation? We just talked about an example of that. A person basically telling you, like for instance, in my case, I can't get too deep in it, but I'm still in court and still fighting for my right to be able to move on with my life, basically. And that is happening because I was trying to be manipulated and trapped to conform to what him downstairs wanted me to do. And that's not what I wanted. I have goals, I have dreams, there's things that I wanted to do in life. And because I no longer wanted to be in the situation with him, he went and he lied and basically forced me to be in a situation that I don't want to be in. Not to say that I'm not grateful, because God always provides all things for you. So God still was able to provide for me and put me in a better situation than I was when I was with him. But yet it's still not the situation in terms of where I would like to be to continue to prosper and grow. But me being who I am, I don't make excuses. I just have to adjust and make things still happen under the circumstances. So that's just a sign of something that people will do. Like, they will try to tell you, oh, well, if you try to go over here and do this, then I'm going to do this to you. You got digital abuse where people will be like, oh, if you don't do what I say, I'm going to use videotapes of, let's say if somebody taped you having sex with them, or, you know, they'll use that and put it on the internet or something like that to get you to do what they say, you know. Or if you work in a work environment and sexual harassment, like, you know, you won't be able to get this job if you don't go out with me, or if you don't have sex with me, or, you know, people always, there is always some type of form of abuse that can be taking place, and some people will not even pay no attention to it because it's not happening to them, or they don't look at it as so severe because we just recognize physical abuse the most. You could be in an abusive relationship. It don't have to necessarily be romantic. It could be friends. It could be family members, co-workers. We gave you an example of the co-worker, your family member. They can be abusive. They can continue to take from you. You have some family members who have sexually abused people and threaten you to, if you tell somebody, they're going to do something to you. Or they'll try to turn it around. Like, say if it's a mother's boyfriend or something, and they'll try to turn around and say, oh, well, I'm going to let her know that you're lying and you're making it up. And, and don't be a liar already, because you already know they really ain't going to believe you. That's why I can't stand lying, child. I can't stand it. It's a pet peeve of mine. Just tell the truth. The truth shall set you free. But you can also, things become toxic. And anytime to me, in my opinion, and anytime you're in any type of relationship with anybody that's toxic, where you feel like you cannot be who you need to be, that's not a good situation. Anytime somebody do something for you and they want to hold it against you or take it away from you because you didn't do what they wanted you to do, or you made them upset, or any of that, and they want to use it against you, that's a form of abuse. It's manipulation. And people don't look at that. If you don't do something for somebody from the kindness of their heart, then don't do it. If you say you was going to do something for somebody and then you just decide, oh, I'm just not going to do it because you made me mad, it's a form of manipulation. You're still trying to do something to get something that you want. So we have to be careful with that. Like I said, we are all guilty of some type of abuse. Us women. It says, okay, what are some misconceptions people have about victims of domestic violence? And if you could change one thing about society's talk about abuse, what would it be? I think the misconception that people have with victims and survivors of domestic violence is that it was so easy, it's so easy for us to get out of the situation. That's not the case. Power is a big thing. Fear is a big thing. You have a lot of times people don't leave the situation. Like in my case, let's talk about me. I'm going to talk about people, because I don't know other people's story, but I know my story. And in my case, I didn't just get up and go because it was that thing of me and my children growing up in a household, with their mom and dad. I grew up in my household with my mother and my father. It wasn't always the best, but we was in the same environment. But I thought that, me having my kids in an environment with their mother and their father, like, who don't want their kids to grow up in that situation? But not all the times are those situations conducive to the well-being of your children. It's actually worse to raise your children in an environment that's toxic. Why should your children be seeing you fight, argue, curse at each other, just see you interact with no respect whatsoever? My children had a whole skit on me and their father, and how we were doing things. That's embarrassing, to be honest. It's embarrassing. They weren't seeing, my daughter and my son wasn't seeing me being loved correctly. And they wasn't seeing me behave in my best self, because, I'm being victimized and abused all the time. That whether, might not have been physical all the time, but the verbal abuse and emotional abuse was consistent. So they like, okay, they thinking that this is the way. And it wasn't. It was a lot of therapy that we had to do to get to where we are right now. I had to get my kids therapy. I had to get myself therapy. We had to do therapy together so that those mistakes were not repeated. Those behaviors were not repeated. You know, you want to take, we have to first have the education when it comes to abuse before we just automatically just judge someone on why they staying in certain situations. We don't know their story. You have a lot of women who left the situation and ended up dead. They ended up dead. Or if not them, their children. Or if not their children, someone that they love. So every time we see somebody going through something, it shouldn't be our place. God said, thou shalt not judge. So why are we judging someone based on why they're in a situation? We don't know their story. We cannot judge that person. It's easy to be like, oh, I wouldn't have done this. Or I did it. And I ended up in a situation. And thought to myself, damn, how the fuck I end up in a situation like this? And I can't believe it. Me? Of all people? And I will walk outside and people will have no clue what I'm going through. Because I don't look like what I've been through. I don't carry myself that way. But it affected me in a lot of ways. Drinking excessively. You know? Because you think that you can drink and erase your problems. No, it doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way. You know? So we have to be very, very careful about the judgment that we place on others. That's what I think, you know, is a misconception that people have. They think that it's just so easy for a victim of domestic violence to just get out of a situation. If it was that easy, they wouldn't have ended up in a situation in the first place. If we knew better, we do better. That's just how I look at it. What role does education, especially for young people, play in preventing abuse? We have to speak to our youth. Like, if you look around, our youth nowadays, this younger generation, they think that it's cute. You have a lot of teenagers out here being in abusive relationships early. Like, we didn't never see this like this back in the day. But nowadays, it's like become a normalcy. Like, you know, they kind of think it's cute in a way. And it's not. At all. I have a daughter that won't. Call me what you want. It is what it is. But can't happen on my watch. Plain and simple. I don't care if she get mad. None of that. The devil is a lie. Speak it against her. That's not going to happen. God, she's covered. Because I'm going to make sure that I give her the tools and the resources necessary so that she can see the signs. So she can recognize the speech early. If you tell somebody, no, I don't want to do something, and they keep asking you, get away. They don't understand clearly the word no. You have a lot of people out here nowadays too. They be drugging these girls, feeling like, oh, let me get them high or, you know, drunk and get them to do things with me. That's a form of abuse. That's sexual abuse. That's sexual assault. So be very careful, my young boys out there and my young girls out there. Be very, very careful. Because people do things so that they can put you in compromising situations. I know it has happened to me before. People will do anything to get what they want. And that's the scary part. That's the scary part. You can't, if you drinking and you leave your cup down, don't even go back to that. Leave it there. All my girls that's you in college and y'all outside, y'all going out, y'all having a good time, even my older women or whatever, listen, don't do it. Just leave it there. And to my guys out there, why would you want to do anything with a female if she's not in her right frame of mind? It's beyond me. That's giving weird. And it's giving creepo. It's giving creep. You should not want to mess with anything that is to the point of they so comatose they can't even do nothing with you. Like, that's disgusting. It's disgusting. You shouldn't want to do it. And the sad part is that a lot of these dudes who be moving like that have daughters. They have daughters. We went through the whole trial that we seen publicly. And everybody has something to say about, the whole situation with, Diddy and Cassie and all of that stuff that happened. Listen, it was a sad situation all across the board. I feel also that us as women, sometimes we make decisions and it be for our own mutual benefit, and we don't understand the repercussions that's coming behind it afterwards. But the initial decision that we made, knowingly that we made it, was for our own benefit. And we have to be careful with that. All money is not good money. All situations, because it look a certain way, you don't know why it looked that way, and it might not be the situation you need to put yourself in. So we need to think twice about certain things as well. There's something else I wanted to touch base on before we get out of here. When we talk about the digital... when we talk about the digital abuse, because I found this to be interesting. It spoke about how, with the digital abuse, it's like texting, threatening, stalking, using spyware. All y'all women going into these guys' phones and looking for stuff. It's a form of abuse. I'm just being a messenger. Because that's what I read, that's what I've studied, that's what I've seen. I have done it myself. Once or twice. Oh my God, I should have been an FBI agent the way I could get into stuff. But, that's another topic for another day. What I'm trying to say is, it's a form of abuse. So, you might want to stop. Okay? Your invasion of people's privacy is a form of abuse. So, you don't want him going through your phone, and you shouldn't be going through his phone. You don't want him stalking you, and you shouldn't be stalking him. Okay? Being on social media, getting mad and starting arguments and doing stuff over posts that he done posted, liking the girl picture, doing all that. That's what social media is for, to like. Now, if you're going into the DMs and you're doing all that, then you as a woman or you as a man need to question who you with. And again, that decision is on you, but you don't control no one. People are grown. People can do what they want to do. That's it. My favorite saying is, You're grown. You can do what you want to do. You just can't do it with me. Can't control nobody. You're not in control of no one. Just remember that. Okay? So, how do we take our lessons that we learn of what abuse look like and what it is, and how do we fix it? How do we change it? How do we make it to a place to where we can be safe and we can avoid being in situations that we technically will not be good for us? So what we would do is this. If you notice that the speech or a person is not being respectful, because people look at love and then you have respect. You can't love somebody that you don't respect. I don't care what nobody says. That's my opinion, and I'm sticking to it. I'm staying 10 toes on that. If you respect someone, you're going to love them. Because the respect that you have for the person is going to control how you move. Making sure you don't do something to hurt this person. How you speak to this person. How you treat this person. All that forms around respect. So respect is first and foremost. If you respect the person, you're going to love them. It's going to help you to have healthy boundaries with that person. It's going to help you to make sure that you don't do things to disrespect that person because you have too much respect for them. Your relationships with people will be healthier when you have respect. If you find yourself in a situation that you do not respect somebody, then you need to get as far away from that as possible. Because that's when you're at risk of things going left. So, respect is first and foremost. Watch the company that you keep. You are who you hang with. That's what people say. Not always the truth. But when you make better decisions for yourself and you on a certain playing field and you trying to elevate, you're not going to be around somebody who just is a disrespectful person, who is abusive person. Like y'all guys hanging around with these dudes who y'all know be beating on these women and stuff like that. You got to ask yourself why you are attracted to hang with somebody like that. Why is that person in your circle? If that's not what you stand for and that's against your moral and your moral code and your ethics, why would you be around somebody who do that? Let's be honest. You gotta be in control of your circle. I'm not hanging around with nobody who sitting there and just abusive. You a half-ass father or a mother. Like, that I don't condone that. So I don't want to be a part of that. And I don't want it around me. And that's how you keep control of your beliefs and what you stand for. What you want to tolerate in your life. If you tell a person, listen, I don't like something, and they continue to do it, get that person away from you. They're no good for you. They don't listen. They don't respect your boundaries. Family, friend, or foe, don't matter who it is. It don't matter. So, the whole purpose of everything is to just be in a safe place, a safe environment. Being safe means a lot of things, but being safe means more than just not being hit. Being safe, it means being free, the freedom of fear, freedom of coercion and threats of your body, your mind, your identity, being able to be yourself and knowing that you're not going to be judged or harmed in any form or fashion because you choose to want to be who you are. Bottom line, you're going to be respected. You're going to be protected. That is what safe is. Emotionally, mentally, physically, spiritually, digitally, everything. Financially, you want to be safe. So anytime that somebody is going against that, get as far away from it as possible. Because those are the signs that it's going to get worse. Believe in me. Those are the signs that it's going to get worse. And I wish that I would have looked at those signs a lot early on, and I would not be in the situation that I am now. And I will be a lot further where I would like to be. But, you know, we all make decisions, and we have to live with the decisions that we make. So that's what that is. I want to thank you guys for tuning in to episode 2 of What Abuse Looks Like. And I just want to say that this, you know, is October the 13th is today. We're in, I would say this is like the middle of October. And it's still Domestic Violence Awareness Month. If you can, just help somebody, reach out to somebody, be nice to somebody, be kind to somebody, do something nice without expecting something in return, without talking about it, that you did it. Nobody want to hear all that. Just walk in the image of God. Let me just say that. Walk in the image of God. Okay? It's getting cold. It's getting chilly. Go on to www.dmdboutique.com. Follow us on Instagram at shopdmdboutique. This is the sweatsuit. This is our spring and summer collection. But, you know, it's Domestic Violence Awareness Month, so I'm wearing purple. This is not on the site. The colors that's on the site are blue, gray, and black. So it comes in men, women, and kid sizes. So go in there, shop DMD Boutique. I am still doing some work with my nonprofit organization, Pain into Paper, and doing some paperwork. So right now, everybody is not able to donate the way that I would like them to. If you would like to donate, I'm going to try to set up another form of means of method of donation that you guys can do to donate to the cause for Domestic Violence Awareness Month. But I like to do things in a professional way. So until that is finalized and set up, I rather everybody not donate at this moment. It's okay. There will be plenty of time to donate. But I need to do it the right way. I'm growing and learning as I go along. This is how I turn my pain into paper. That's how. I'm doing something positive and channeling my pain into a positive place so that I can do positive things and I can walk in my purpose. Also, for my single mothers out there, you can also follow me at Just Us 3, The Unfiltered Way, on my Instagram, on TikTok. And that's my journey on how I have done things and been able to be, you know, how my life is set up as a single parent, with my 2 kids, and knowing that there is life after being abused and being in an abusive situation. This one went on for a little while, so thank you guys for tuning in with me. And I think next week we're going to try to do something a little bit more fun. And I may do something, maybe a live or something on Instagram or something like that, so I can interact with you guys. I want to interact with you. If you have any ideas, or if you want to share your experience, because this is a platform to share experiences, hit me up. You can email me at pain to paper dvorg@gmail.com. I will leave all the information up for you guys. It will be under my YouTube link so that you guys can email me. You can reach out to me, and we can just keep this positive message going on so that we can help somebody to get out of a situation that they need to be free from. I love you guys. Thank you so much again for tuning in. And remember, be blessed. Help someone. Be nice to someone. Be nice to someone. And that's it. Love you guys. It's Cardi, Kaylani, it's you and I, baby, baby, look, I don't need a rich nigga, just somebody that can make me feel safe. Yeah. Want to be safe, everybody. Love you guys. Mwah.